One morning, Santi, a man drowning in financial struggles, rushes to work only to face his boss, Romulo, a smug yacht broker. Out of breath, Santi apologizes for being late and promises to stay after hours to make up for it. But Romulo isn't interested in apologies. With a smirk, he coldly tells Santi to finish his tasks because, surprise, he's fired. Humiliated, Santi walks away, head down, gripping 2 containers of human waste that Romulo spitefully handed him, just to rub salt in the wound. As if the day couldn't get any worse, his van sputters and breaks down on the way home. Frustrated but determined, he starts walking toward the nearest gas station. Just then, splash! A passing car sprays him with a wave of muddy water. Now drenched and miserable, he sighs, accepting that today just isn't his day. At the gas station, his self-absorbed friend, Pedro, casually asks if he's coming to their class reunion. He especially wants to know since Santi's old rival, Mario, will be there. Santi instantly refuses. He has other plans that involve dealing with his soon-to-be ex-wife, M. During their meeting with the divorce lawyer, M explains that their house is the only asset they have. The lawyer suggests they keep living there together until the divorce is final. But M instantly rejects the idea. To her, it defeats the whole purpose of separating. She's ready to move on. Santi sits there, stunned. He still has feelings for her. Watching him talk about a future without him stings. Desperate to hold on, he refuses to let her go emotionally, but she shuts him down. Firmly, she asks the lawyer how long the divorce will take. The lawyer's answer, 2 or 3 months, catches him off guard, but she accepts it. After the meeting, Santi takes one last shot at reconnecting, inviting him to dinner. But she turns him down. She's heading to the class reunion instead. Santi notices she's putting extra effort into her appearance. A terrible thought hits him. Is she going with someone? He asks. M quickly denies it, but the conversation turns awkward, and she hurries off. Feeling defeated, Santi walks aimlessly until a lottery booth catches his eye. On a whim, he buys a ticket. Maybe luck will finally be on his side. That evening, Santi decides to crash the reunion, curiosity eating at him. There, he spots M chatting with a well-dressed man. His blood boils. Is this the guy? He marches over, ready for a confrontation, but then confusion. The man isn't a stranger. He's an old classmate. Santi narrows his eyes, trying to place him. Didn't you sit behind Mario in class? The man smirks. I am Mario. Santi's jaw nearly hits the floor. The same Mario he used to tease for being overweight? This is him. Before he can recover, M drops another bomb. Mario is now her boss at the supermarket. Across the room, Pedro and Marcos burst into laughter at the thought of M dating Mario. They joke about his old size, completely unaware that Mario has transformed. When Santi points him out, their laughter dies instantly. They didn't see this coming. Later that night, back at home, Santi carelessly tosses a pack of cigarettes in the trash, unknowingly throwing away something far more valuable, his lottery ticket. The next morning, M drops another unexpected piece of news. Mario wants to interview Santi for a job at the supermarket. It's a golden opportunity, but Santi? He wants nothing to do with it. He still holds a grudge, convinced Mario is after him. Days pass. Then, one fateful afternoon, while relaxing in a warm bath, Santi hears something on the radio that makes his heart nearly stop. The winning numbers for the 25 million euro lottery. His numbers. Panic takes over. He leaps out of the tub, dripping wet, and tears through the house, searching. Then it hits him. The trash. Outside, he dives headfirst into the garbage, gagging at the stench, but determined. And then there it is, the golden ticket. His hands tremble as he clutches it. He's rich, eager to share the moment. He rushes to M's workplace, only to be met with a gut-wrenching sight. M sitting in Mario's car. They seem close. Too close. He watches as Mario leans in for a kiss, but M stops him. I'm not ready yet, she says. Santi's emotions spiral. So she's interested in him after all. But instead of dwelling on it, he sets his sights on something more important, cashing in his fortune. At the bank, Santi's presence draws attention, especially from Damien, the bank manager. Feeling uneasy, Santi tries to slip away, but Damien follows. By the time Santi gets to his van, he nearly jumps out of his skin. Damien is inside it. Santi yells in shock, but Damien calmly reassures him, offering to manage his newfound wealth. Santi doesn't trust him and orders him to leave. Before Damien can respond, a policewoman named Bonia arrives, ready to write Santi a ticket for illegal parking. But the moment Damien announces that Santi just won the lottery, her tone shifts entirely. Suddenly, she's all smiles, even congratulating him on his big win. Later, at a fancy restaurant, Damien drops a bombshell. Santi may have won millions, but half of it legally belongs to M. Santi's stomach twists. The idea of M spending her share on Mario makes him sick. Seeing his distress, Damien gives him a sneaky suggestion. Keep the money a secret until the divorce is finalized. If M doesn't know, she can't claim her half. Santi hesitates, but then a worrying thought. His friends might let it slip. Damien warns him, tell no one. One wrong move, and he could lose both his fortune and his friendships. The next day, life takes an ironic turn. Santi now works at Mario's supermarket. His co-worker, Tanya, excitedly shares her 2-year plan. She hopes to be promoted to checkout staff. Santi listens, trying to act normal, but deep inside, he knows something she doesn't. He's a millionaire. That night, he finally tastes his newfound freedom, splurging on anything his heart desires. Life just got interesting. Santi hides his purchases in the old shed at home, so M won't find out. He now lives in secrecy, going as far as pouring expensive wine into a cheap bottle just so he can enjoy it without raising suspicion. One afternoon, after a long surfing session, Marcos invites Santi and their friends out for drinks. But Santi refuses, saying he has no money. Pedro gives him a skeptical look. Santi works for M's new man, so why would he be broke? Marcos tells Pedro to drop it, saying it's unfair to bring up Santi's struggles. But Pedro insists, saying that people should just be happy with what they have. Santi fires back, saying they shouldn't hate on the winner just because he's rich. Marcos narrows his eyes. Santi sounds way too defensive. Could he be the mystery winner? Santi quickly laughs it off, acting as if the idea is ridiculous. But just as he relaxes, his eyes land on Mario by the beach. Santi stiffens. What's Mario doing here? The group is just as surprised to see him surfing. They watch, expecting him to wipe out any second. To make things more interesting, Santi invites his friends for a drink, hoping to witness Mario fail. But to his shock, Mario is actually good, really good. The next morning, Santi wakes up late in his luxury hotel room and rushes to get dressed. But as soon as he steps outside, a problem hits him. He can't wear fancy clothes to his supermarket job. Thinking fast, he swaps outfits with a janitor. When he arrives, M immediately notices his tank top. Why are you dressed like that? She asks. Santi shrugs. It's summer. M raises an eyebrow. It's October. Santi freezes. But before he can come up with an excuse, she changes the subject. By the way, where did you stay last night? He stammers, trying to say he was at a 5-star hotel. M doesn't buy it. It's fine if you sleep in your van, she says. Just let me know next time. Before Santi can respond, Mario appears. You're late, he snaps. Santi fakes a sheepish grin. I had an accident. I fell into the trash. Mario smirks. That explains a lot. Santi lets it slide, but Mario isn't done. He throws in a jab about Santi's poor surfing skills. Irritated, Santi decides he's had enough. If he's going to be a millionaire, he might as well surf like one. Determined, he starts training under pro surfer Eritz Aramburu. Over the next few days, Santi fully embraces his new lifestyle. Expensive restaurants, luxury shopping, high-class events. His world is changing. And so is his time with his friends. Then one day, Damien introduces Santi to Romulo, a yacht broker. He's the son of a millionaire, Damien says confidently. Santi plays along. I'd like to buy a yacht. Romulo looks impressed. Damien offers 500,000 euros, but Romulo shakes his head. That's too low. Santi smirks. All right, then I'll leave. Romulo hesitates. He doesn't want to lose the sale. Finally, he agrees to the price. But Santi isn't done. Before handing over the check, he wants Romulo to personally empty the yacht's bathroom, just like he once made Santi do. The next day, Santi and Damien are discussing investments when he suddenly spots Marcos and Pedro coming his way. Panicked, he dives behind a trash bin, stuffing his expensive shopping bags inside. When he finally faces them, they eye him suspiciously. He's wearing a designer suit. Thinking fast, Santi lies. "I got a new job, testing suits." Pedro's eyes light up. "That's awesome. Can I try?" Santi forces a laugh, but then his stomach drops. Behind him, the trash bin with his purchases is being emptied. Desperate to change the subject, he asks how they've been. But Marcos crosses his arms. "You haven't checked in on us for weeks?" That evening, Santi is invited to dinner with M's parents. He starts to sweat when he realizes they're drinking wine, the same wine he secretly swapped. Miguel, M's father, swirls the glass and takes a sip. "This is incredible," he says. "Where did you buy it?" M casually answers, "From the supermarket. Probably cost 195 euros. Miguel nearly chokes. "Euro 195? This tastes like a 1,000 euro bottle." Santi chokes on his drink. That night, alone in his hotel room, he starts to miss his old life. He calls Damien. "I need your help with something." The next day, Pedro tells Marcos about a crazy marketing deal he was offered, but he's unsure about it. Marcos' jaw drops when he hears the amount. "Pedro, that's 1,000,000 euros. Later, Santi arrives at the bar, hoping to reconnect with his friends, but they ignore him. Feeling hurt, he sits alone at the counter. After a while, Pedro softens. "Hey, come join us, I got big news." As they celebrate, Marcos gets an unexpected call. His wife, Lorena, is on the line. "You won't believe this," she says. "You just inherited money from Aunt Dolores." Marcos is stunned. He had no idea she left him anything. Unbeknownst to them, this is all part of Santi's secret plan to share his wealth. Later, at the golf course, Santi spots Mario and whispers to Damien, "That's my rival." Damien frowns. "Mario? Oh yeah, he was at the bank the other day applying for a loan." Santi tenses. Could Mario have seen him? He decides to start wearing a disguise. But curiosity gets the best of him. "What's the loan for?" Damien sighs. He's selling his business and laying off all his employees. At that moment, Mario walks up. Santi immediately pretends to be Damien's caddy. Mario smirks. "What are you doing here? Shouldn't you be working at the supermarket?" Santi quickly lies. "This is my second job. Gotta earn some extra cash." The next day, Santi rushes to warn M about the supermarket possibly shutting down. But before he can, Mario interrupts. "Did you know Santi has a second job while still working here?" M's face darkens. She's disappointed. "I don't think you take this seriously anymore," she says. "You don't need to come back to my house." Later that evening, Santi rides in Marcos' flashy new sports car. He sighs, frustrated. "You should have bought a minivan for your family instead." Marcos rolls his eyes. "Why do you care how I spend my money?" Santi stops himself before he says too much. Pedro scoffs. "Jealous of your low-paying job?" Santi flinches. If only they knew the truth. He suddenly asks Marcos to pull over, needing a moment to breathe. When the car stops, he takes a deep breath and drops a bombshell. He's the actual lottery winner. The money Marcos spent on the car? Yeah, it was his. The group erupts with excitement, cheering for Santi's crazy stroke of luck. What better way to celebrate than hitting the club? Drinks flow, music blasts, and they party like there's no tomorrow. But tomorrow does come, and with it, a phone call from Mario that sets everything in motion. Meanwhile, Santi, feeling a little bruised over M, hatches a plan. He hires an escort. Yep, you heard that right, just to make him jealous. And guess what? It works. M overhears everything, and jealousy creeps in. That night, both M and Santi attempt to move on with their respective partners. But let's be real, it's a disaster. No sparks, no excitement. Just an overwhelming feeling that something's missing. The next morning, things take a dramatic turn. Mario, always full of surprises, pretends to fire his employees, putting on a whole act about how he couldn't save the business. M isn't about to let that slide. She steps in, determined to help them secure their severance pay, though not everyone trusts the situation. Meanwhile, Santi, sensing that M needs a little pick-me-up, invites her to dinner. She hesitates, but ultimately agrees. But this isn't just any dinner. Santi pulls out all the stops. He hires a full team to create a magical, restaurant-like experience, and then he makes them hide. When M arrives, it's just the two of them, an intimate, candlelit dinner. As they eat, the air shifts. They reconnect, talking openly about their divorce. Santi, for the first time, admits how much he's struggling to move on. The moment is raw, real, and just like that, they kiss. But before things go too far, Santi stops to apologize for his past mistakes. M apologizes too, but Santi insists that he's the one who messed up the most. And then, the ultimate reveal. Santi finally confesses that he's the Super Lotto winner. M's face twists in shock, quickly replaced by betrayal. Without a word, she storms out and straight onto Santi's yacht. Elsewhere, Pedro, furious over the way people mocked him after his commercial, blames Santi for making him a model, despite all his money. It's one frustration after another, and Santi, feeling empty despite all his success, makes a bold decision. He cuts ties with Damien, who's visibly emotional over the split. Meanwhile, M gets a surprise, Euro 12.5 million from Santi. But that's not all. A package follows inside. They're signed divorce papers. Lorena celebrates, thinking M is finally free, but M? She's not celebrating. She's still in love with Santi. Later, M visits the now reopened supermarket, only to find out that Mario plans to sell it. Furious, she demands answers. Then, another shocker. Damien, now the supermarket's administrator, hands her a document naming her as the new director. M's mind races. Could it be? Did Santi buy the business? She needs to know where he is immediately. Outside, she runs into Bonia, the policewoman. Desperate, she pleads with her not to give her a ticket. Instead, she blurts out that she needs to get to the airport. The second Bonia hears Santi's name, she smirks and offers her a ride. At the airport, M frantically searches for Santi. The tension builds. Then she spots him. Heart pounding, she rushes toward him, expecting what? A romantic embrace? An emotional reunion? Nope. Instead, she slaps him across the face. Did you really think throwing money at me would win me back? She snaps. But before she can storm off again, Santi does what he does best. He pulls her in and kisses her. A kiss that says everything he's been holding back. A kiss that tells her exactly how he feels. Fast forward 1 year later, Santi and M are back together, stronger than ever, running their thriving supermarket. Pedro? He's now a social media sensation. Marcos and Lorena? Expecting another child. And Mario? Well, let's just say he steals the spotlight with his unexpected weight gain, leaving everyone wondering what's next for him. Did you enjoy the recap? Please like and subscribe, and hit the notification bell to be updated next time we drop. Thanks for watching.